Into the cloud. Here we are. Okay, so again, here to study Allan Kardec's books, and out of the 5 books from Allan Kardec, most famous books, we are studying this book called the Spirits Book, and we are following Kardecpedia version because then we all be on the same page. Kardecpedia is free, so all that you have to do is just access the website and type the Spirits Book. We started with the book number 3, Moral Laws. This is our agenda, and again, let me talk about, what's coming next is this lecture from Geraldo Lemos. Geraldo Lemos was a personal friend to Chico Xavier, the medium, the Brazilian medium. I highly recommend you to stay here and listen to him. If you cannot, just check on the Science and Spirituality Connection YouTube channel. But I do highly recommend this lecture. So we'll be talking about some real cases from Chico Xavier life. And hopefully there'll be some time that we can ask questions and such. With that, I will just play this video. It's a short, I think it's a less than 5 minutes video. So this guy, he will be talking to us next week. He's talking about who Chico Xavier was. So let's see if that. Oh,
before we start, let's let them know. So next week we need to start 1 hour before. If you
no.
Oh no, he's good for.
Yeah.
Oh okay.
Yeah, his time is locked. Yeah. So as a matter of fact, the person that takes care of his agenda, she should talk to me to confirm the hour precisely. So it's the same time. But what Josie is talking about, she's talking about right now, there is a difference, time difference between us and Brazil. So right now we have like 3 hours difference, and she'd like to ask you all if you agree to move our meeting to start 1 hour earlier rather than right now for me it's 3 o'clock. So if you agree on moving,
less I don't know where the time for everybody, but we would do only if it's better for everybody. If it's not, we just skip. It's more important most the group be comfortable.
Yeah.
So
just think about, for now we are not moving, we are not changing, but just think about and let us know. We will do whatever the majority thinks is best for them.
Anna, just to remind you, this video I think lasts about 27 minutes, you know?
Let's
Is
see.
it the one?
Don't think. Yeah. Okay, I will just play the first 5 minutes.
Okay.
Let me know if the sound is okay.
Geraldo, who was Chico Xavier?
Oh, after so many years of knowing him, thinking about him and understanding his works, I'm nowadays certain that he was a higher spirit living amongst us. And his works, his life, everything he represents is very, very important for all of us on earth.
And who was he? I mean, we know that he was a evolved spirit, but who was he in human terms? I mean, he was what? I mean, he was a spiritist, he was...
Yeah, he was a very humble human being. very simple one, simple matters, and he was a very joyful person. He loved life. He loved to make friends. He loved to talk with friends and to get to know each other and make new friends. And he was a very special person, and a very humane one, very close to us. And I think to myself that he was so humble that he could make us feel like we are in a family with him.
Why was he an important figure in humanity, but also within Spiritism?
Because of his works. He started working with Spiritism when he was only 17 years old. He starts to psychograph messages from the higher spirits, and he would do this for 75 years, non-stop. And he would do all kinds of works on charity also. He was always preoccupied with the ones that had nothing, like the poverty, or the ones that are suffering, the ones that had lost relatives or loved ones to another life. So he was always thinking about doing something to help people out, to give them strength and courage. And he would do that for 75 years non-stop. And from his psychographic material, up to date, we have 507 books published in Portuguese. That's the largest work in Portuguese language at this date in the world. And I have researched before also in other languages. We have only two writers, one in Russia and one in the Arabic Republic, the Arabic Kingdom, that wrote more books than Chico Xavier. But the Arabic one was published, I think 1,000 books, but all in poems, all the same material. And the other one in Russia also published like 700 books in one subject. But Chico Xavier would publish all those 507 books in all kinds of writings, novels and letters, chronicles, and scientific material, poems, all kinds of expressions of the literature.
Okay, so there is coming next Saturday. Just a little piece of what's coming next. Before we start reading the book again today, last week we had a lot of discussion about evolution, planetary evolution, and I did a quick research. And in the Kardecpedia website, there is a book from Allan Kardec called What is Spiritism? And under the chapter number 3, the solution of few problems by means of Spiritist doctrine, under the plurality of worlds, there is a question that says, are there many worlds traveling through space peopled with inhabitants as is the earth? And the response from the spirits, all the spirits have affirmed it. And reason states that it must be so, since the earth occupies no special class. Again, this is about us. Since the earth occupies no special class in the universe, either because of its position or size, there is nothing that would justify believing that it alone is privileged enough to inhabit it. Moreover, God could not have created those billions of globes simply for the pleasure of our own eyes, especially since the vast majority is beyond our sight. Then the next question, the question number 107, assuming that these worlds are inhabited, are they in the same position as the earth from the moral and intellectual point of view? The answer, according to what the spirits have thought, the various worlds are at very different degrees of evolution. Some are in the same condition as thy earth, others are even less evolved. The human beings on them are even more brutish, more physical, and more inclined toward evil. On the other hand, there are worlds on which human beings are morally, intellectually, and physically more evolved, where moral evil is unknown, where arts and science have attained a degree of perfection incomprehensible to us, and where the inhabitants' less physical composition is subject neither to suffering, disease, nor infirmity. People live in peace without trying to harm one another, and they do not experience the vexations, troubles, afflictions, or needs that assail earth's people. Moreover, there are worlds that are more evolved still, where nearly fluidic corporeal envelope approaches more and more the nature of the angels. In the progressive series of the worlds, the earth is neither in the first nor the last category, but it is one of the most material and least evolved. So in this case, they're talking about, we have some material mentioning, 5 categories. And it's not black and white as it is listed in here, but they if the spirits, they said, well, if we can say something, put the worlds in category, we can talk about 5 of them. The first one, primitives. The second one, atonement and exile. We are here, by the way. Regeneration, we are moving to here one day. Happiness and celestial. And the first one, then primitives. So they're talking about where the brutal force is predominant. We are still evolving the instinct, and moral evil is predominant as well. Then we have the atonement and exile, still brutal force, moral evil still, and we are pursuing the reasoning, the development. Regeneration is the next step. Then we see love and enlightenment, less of moral evil and more of reasoning. And then happiness and celestial, we cannot even talk about this because this is so far away from us. But anyway, the higher we go, higher level of love and until perfection. So we can say, we are moving from here to here, but I think it's so important for us to remember, from the primitive world to whatever we are here, in the middle of the transition, it took us what, 1 billion of years. So now you can imagine, how far away we are from this category over here. So I guess, let's see what I have next. Yeah, so before we move, any comment or so? I don't want to prolong for too long, but
Can I
All
make
right.
one?
Perhaps
Yes,
some
ma'am.
of perhaps the world leaders could get this book to see that they are not top dog in the universe.
Yes.
Excellent idea, Hyacinth.
Oh, you must be joking.
All right. So anyone, Josie, you had something. Yeah.
Yes, I want to just make a comment to remind what Chico Xavier used to say to us. He said by 2057, we would be more very, very close to the regeneration world, when the regeneration world would start. Again, it's not 2 + 2 is 4. Everything we know, it's evolution. It's not like Anna said, white and black. But we are really, really close to this moment now. And my opinion, like now we see people being really good, or maybe people being very bad. I think everybody's showing up. And we see that with this whole political pandemic, and everything's political, economic, and social, because we are in this time where, if you think about even the Bible, when you separate the wheat and the trigo, do joio, Luis, in English,
Tough.
when you the separation, so who is evolving morally can stay in the earth. But Chico Xavier was very interesting saying
To split the wheat from the hycine, just
Yeah.
wheat from
Yeah,
The
I'm
tear.
sorry, I don't know in English.
the tares.
Our Bible expert. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, it's really interesting. He bring this date, and yeah, just make this comment.
Yeah, that's a very good comment, Joseph, because as a matter of fact, there is a I do not know if it's a book, Luis, but the data limite, or the ultimate date or something.
It's
Right,
a great
from-
documentary, and I think maybe we can
The deadline.
deadline.
The deadline, yes, exactly. The deadline.
I
There
would
is a-
highly recommend. It's a great, yeah.
Talking
Yes,
about-
there's a video called The Deadline by Chico Xavier. It was a friend of mine from São Paulo, a movie maker. Of course, this movie is a little bit, a movie, he wanted to call the attention. About 6 million views today on YouTube. But it's very interesting because they get one prophecy that Chico Xavier on air in a pool of TV stations in 1971, saying that 50 years after 1969, 50 years later, something would happen that could change the world. And if the world could make it until at that moment without destroying itself, many changes would happen. And exactly in 2019, that was turning 50 years after that, you had the COVID-19, of course. So exactly the way is he had predicted, many things are changing, many situations are coming up. And I think we haven't destroyed ourselves, each other, because of nuclear weapons and things like that. This is something, it's a good sign, right? He said this was decided in a meeting between Jesus Christ and other very high entities of the solar system, because the very high entities of the solar system want to whip the earth with the right movement. But Jesus said, okay, hold please, just 50 years. Give me 50 years and let's see what can happen. And Chico talked about these things very naturally, very interesting. And of course, we shelved these things, although Chico sometimes is crazy that we shelved those things, but in the end, there you are, 2019, COVID and things like that.
That's
Right.
amazing.
Amazing.
Leda?
I just want to tell you that when we get into this world of regeneration, the people who are not connected with love, with trying to be better and wanting the best for who is around you and for the other members of the planet, these people will be exiled. I don't know if you said that, please. These people will be exiled for the planet number 2, for other less evolved
Earth.
planets.
Earth-like, yes.
out of Earth, yeah, and this will be very painful for all of us who live in this planet. So it's a moment where we need to pray and to be very kind to each other, because everybody will be passing through hard times until 2057. So we have to be very kind to each other and try to help people as much as we can.
Yep. Thank you, Leda. Hyacinth.
Well, the people from Arcturus, they have said that another world is being prepared for those who cannot make the leap forward when Earth moves. So they will be kicked back onto this other planet.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Yes,
And
indeed.
of course, and Louis, you know this, you
Absolutely.
know the parable about the wedding feast. Those who didn't have the wedding clothes will be thrown into outer darkness.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although were invited, but they are not able to face the music.
They had excuses. They had excuses.
That's it.
Yeah. But there is a good, oh, go ahead, Luis.
Gloria said something interesting here. She said that it seems that we are kind of going back in our moral systems these times. And it's real. This is real because many people who are in the realms around the earth, according to the spirits, they lived there in their lives very comfortably in a comfortable zone many hundreds of years. And the circumstances, the natural circumstances and higher spirituality, they came like saying to those big cities in the spiritual realms, like, now you'll have to go down and reincarnate, right? You'll have to, because in these transitional times, everybody will have their last chance. And Chico Xavier used to speak about this in 1940s. He said, "Oh, wow, lots of kinds of people will be reincarnating now. There will be a mess in this world because the medievals are coming back." And nowadays you can see this, can't you? Yeah, medieval thought, right? Medieval lines of thought, right? Spreading all over the world. Nobody, can understand science very well. So I thought it was amazing, all those conversations that we had in 1960s, 1970s, and of course it was kind of daydreaming conversation. And now it's so real, the evidence of everything that was predicted.
Yeah, indeed. And but there is one thing that I think is we need to point at least for the folks in the group, the folks really interested in study more and more and learn more and more, because it seems to me that, I don't want to say we are the best, but at least we are trying. We are trying to study and understand better, to know more how to love and how to enlighten ourselves. So it's almost like we want to step forward, and be in this situation, love and enlightenment, kind of preparation for a regeneration world. Because evidently, whenever the exile happens, it's not going to be a matter of punishment. It's going to be a matter of vibration. So, and attraction, right? So if I'm not vibrating love and enlightenment, there is no way I will stick to the new earth. I will go to whatever earth-like planet, earth-like today, because that's my vibration. That's, the kind of energy I will be vibrating. Leda, I do not know who was first, Leda.
I'd like to know that we have our personal evolution, which is really from individual to individual, but we have a group, a planet evolution. So we have to know if we are doing something to help the group, or if we are being a piece that disturbs the group, if you are bringing the group down, or if you're helping to put it up. So if you're bringing the group down, you cannot stay in the group, which is the whole planet, actually. So that I think you're right when you say that we're trying to increase the level, to lift the planet. Although we probably all of us have a lot to learn personally in our personal lives. We have committed we have our flaws, right? But
Right.
As a group, we're trying to do our best. We are going with the law, and we are trying to help the others be better. So I think that's what the planet needs now. And if we do that, we're keeping up with the evolution. So those who are disturbing the planet, those will not be accepted here anymore. That's the point.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, good comment. And Una said something very good as well. Going to the vibration you resonate with is a universal law. Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what
I think it is. I think it's a law of the universe from things that I've heard and things that I've read.
Yeah.
That's how the universe works, I think.
Yeah. Josie?
Una, I was going to say something very similar to what you say. Absolutely, yes, it's vibration, it's frequency. We are around quantum physics. It's science. It's physics, and you are going to get the frequency. You whatever you emit to the universe is going to bring back to you. But what I was going to say, it's so, yeah, we have what Leda said was perfect, and I agree 100, but I want to remember that our path is individual. And every time I keep saying, Louise always say that we need to change inside ourselves. We need to find a way to be better thoughts and better feelings. Each person has your own path to find that. For me, I don't mind to say here, for me, for example, I'm doing therapy. I'm trying to be less irritated. I'm trying to be somebody more patient. It's how I am trying to change inside myself. Yep. Find a way to change inside yourselves. Because yes, we are in a group, but the path is individual. We always can help the other one, but only us can help ourselves. And don't let that go. Because it's at the same time, I think it's very free, because it's only depend on you. And to do your own personal change. Of course, we always going to help other people, but don't forget to help yourself. And that's what I'm focused a lot right now. Just want to say that.
Yeah, because the world is changing. The world
many times
with or without us. So now we need to do our homework and change ourselves, right?
Can I just say one more thing? We are going to fail. I have been fail over and over again, right, honey? My husband's here, knows I'm a kind of angry person sometimes, but I keep trying.
As long as we keep trying, it's okay.
Don't give up.
Louise or Olivia, I don't know which one.
It's me. I like just to add here that, just like I wrote here right down, after 40 years dealing with spirit release meetings, right, circles, I've seen that no matter what you've been here on earth, you can have been a spiritualist person, a priest, a pastor, but if your body is heavy, if your body is not resonating in the higher realms, you won't be able to get there. It doesn't matter if you founded churches, if you are famous, if you are a spiritual leader, if you have performed miracles, physical miracles on earth, because sometimes you are a very old spirit, you can control matter very easily. Even so, if you're not able, right, to love from the bottom of your heart, to be detached from physical world very well, you won't be able to reach higher realms. And many spirits that are the leaders of the darkness these days, they are rebellious people because they thought they were so good, they were so spiritually evolved, but when they got there, they found that things were not like that, and they really got very rebellious. These meetings were
When we come back, we eat and we go, okay?
right. What's that? So
I'm leaving,
this
so
work,
I can do
these meetings, right? I remember were the most difficult meetings because the spirituality came and said, "Look, guys, everybody now, every meeting, get ready." Because we are going to receive here, for example, a cardinal from a pope, a former pope, and now these guys are leaders of great crowds here on the spiritual lower planes, and you'll have to talk to him, and we will have to rescue him to a higher realm right now. This situation, this was very impressive. That moved the whole meeting with very high level of commotion, right? And that's it. Your physical body or your spiritual body has a specific weight, and that weight is going to indicate what level you can inhabit when you are on the other planet, on the other side of life. That's it.
Very nice. Good comments. Giles.
Yes, now I certainly have something to say about this image here. This image is totally confusing because this image indicates that we're all primitive at one point, we're all in atonement at another point, we're all at regeneration in another point, and so on. But this is not so at all. The whole point of the planet Earth is that we're all mixed up. There are primitives, people doing atonement. In fact, that's all of us. And there are the very few who are happy. And this is perhaps an error in that book, because it's not showing that the spirits are different stages of evolution at the same time.
Yeah, and it does. This is just an illustration. The book says it's impossible to say, a planet is at this very stage, because exactly what you said is a mix.
The purpose of it is to be a mix. Yes. Okay, exactly. That's enough.
Yeah, it's a mix. Yeah. Hi, Saint.
Yes, the point is that there are very many people at different stages. So you have all of this at once. And so the people, but you will evolve at a higher rate and a different rate, and you go somewhere else in the end. So that it's what it is. At this moment, there are still all of these people. There's always good as well. So that there is, we can see the brutal force, the more evil, it's terrible. So we can see that. But it's very many people at different stages.
Yes.
But
nice confirmation, Hyacinth, nice confirmation. That is, of course, the point of the planet.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yeah.
So I have no problem. I have no problem with this definition here, because we just don't mix at different stages.
It is so interesting that we are at this stage right here, because we can say that's exactly right. I agree with your comments. We can very much say that we have people so close to the primitive type, and at the same time we have a lot of people so close to regeneration type of, so yes, this times is very, very unique in the life of Earth, if we can say that way, because we have the extremes, but still we have to live together. We have to find our way to live together. Luis or Livia?
Oh yeah, the Spirit said to Kardec, it was just a didactic point.
Yeah.
For us to understand that we are not in, as you said, in black and white situation. Of course, there are many people in different scale, but we are evolving as a planet, not as individuals. There are many individuals in different situations, but we are as a planet. That's the predominating,
Prevail.
or what prevail in the planet is what matters. And it's just at a didactic point, because
The average, right?
yeah, we
Yeah.
wouldn't understand that the evolution of the planets if they didn't make this didactic
Classification.
classifications for us.
And there's another point, right? One of the very high characteristics of an atonement and exile planet is this huge variety
Oh yeah.
of moral, imbalance and something, a huge variety. Because the more we evolve, of course, the less varied will we, because people will have to, for example, just Haising said, if we are not ready, those who are not ready, those who don't want to progress, will be invited to leave the planet, right? So that Earth can be a better place in the future. In this sense, of course, there will be less variation, less variety of
Discrepancy, I would say.
Discrepancy,
More
yes.
homogeneous and less of
Yeah.
discrepancy.
Okay, Haising, please.
Leda?
No,
Oh, Hyacinth? Okay. Leda, is that?
Me, I think we have to think of this planet, all the planets as a school. So in the school, you have many classes in different levels, but you have some students that are more prepared, and they are there to help the others, like monitors. I don't know the word in English, like these students that help teach the other students.
Tutors.
So tutors, yeah. So they're few, but they're there because the majority of the students need some guidance. So that's how the mercy of God works. God is always sending us some guides. Some are very well known and some are not. Some are anonymous. But they help the planet to evolve. If they didn't come to help us, the planet would be always the same. So as they come and they help us, these tutors, we start evolving. So that's why there are some people that are much more evolved and some are less evolved because of God's mercy too, that give them a little more time so they can regret what they have done. In order to afterwards, they move to another planet or something like that. So that's why there are few that are more evolved and few that are less evolved.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, before Gloria talks, I would like to add something. If we want to take a sample of the entire planet population, you can look at your own family and you will see different individuals at the very different stages. Some of us, we are, you can tell that the person has a higher thoughts or, feelings, and others, they are like kindergarten kind of students, right? So they are at the very beginning. So Gloria, please.
Did you say me?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, when I was the mother of teenagers, I think I vacillated between 1 and 5 in my own body. However, the point I wanted to make is that when we were talking about individual versus societal, I think I have seen it as it's my responsibility to work on myself and to develop myself personally. And by my lifting myself, I have, in doing so, lifted the cumulative by whatever amount I've lifted myself. So I think it's very important that each of us work on ourselves, because our energy then, our personal development, it lifts the energy of the people around us.
Yes, yes, I totally agree. Very, very appropriate. Yes. Yeah. Any other comment? Does anybody want to say anything else? If not, okay, we can go ahead and continue to read our book. So last time we stopped here, question 636, are good and evil absolute for all humanity? And the answer is God's law is the same for everyone, but evil resides in the people's desire for it to happen. Good is always good, and evil is always evil, regardless of what person's position may be. The difference is in the degree of accountability. So the next question, if I can pull up the, is 637. So Gloria, would you please read the first question for us?
Sure, just as I'm cleaning my glasses here. When savages give in to their instinctive desire to eat human flesh, are they guilty? The essence of evil lies in the will. Therefore, humans are more or less guilty according to the awareness of their own actions. And do you want to talk about
this is
that?
the comment.
Pardon?
This is the answer from the spirits, and this is the comment from Allan Kardec. So if you want, you can continue, and then we can comment.
Okay. Circumstances give good and evil a relative seriousness. Humans often commit faults that are reprehensible as a consequence of the social positions in which they are placed. Their accountability is proportionate to the means they possess of distinguishing between right and wrong. Therefore, enlightened individuals who commit minor injustices are more culpable in God's eyes than ignorant savages who surrender to their instincts and eat each other. I mean, if that's what everybody in your society is doing, you don't know any better. But if I know better and I'm in a position of responsibility and I do a minor infraction, shame on me.
Exactly. That's perfect. Hi, Steve.
Right. This is what they asked Stephen about. He said, if in the culture, in the country where you are, the practice is to eat people, then they ask him what was sin, then that is not a sin. But if you do it when it is not that, not the law, then you get a problem. Because we are judging, we're taking our moral standard and putting on somebody else and another group.
Yep. Accountability. Louise or Livia?
So as Gloria, yours is if you know better, this is not it, then you don't do it. Yeah. Okay.
Louise and Livia?
Well, when I study with youngsters, they usually come to the conclusion from this that, so I don't want to study Spiritism, Louise, because I don't want to be aware, and I don't want to be responsible that much. And I read the last question of the Spirit's book to them, where a spirit called Saint Louis, he says, "O poor of those who close their eyes to the light when they are ready for it, because they plant to themselves centuries of deception and darkness in their pathways in their next reincarnations." Right? So that is the point where they think it over, they give second thoughts to it. Okay, let's go on studying Spiritism then. There you go.
Yeah. So Una, are you the next or Hyacinth? I didn't. I think it's Una.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah. So I read something recently about like energy darts. So if you know when you're going about your normal day and somebody does something to annoy you, like a car pulls out in front of you or the driver's annoying you or something like that, and you're like, oh, sake, and you're whatever, you're sending energy to that person. So then at the end of the day, when you're reflecting on your day and things like that, you've got to go and pull all those energy darts out of somebody. So if you're not when you're not aware, if you're not aware of what you're doing and things like that, as in savages eating flesh and things like that, then you're not aware of that. But once you kind of realize that you're sending energy out and that you've got to go and collect all that energy or take those energy darts back out of somebody, then you still do it, but you realize then, oh crap, I've got to go and take another energy dart out of somebody. So you have more awareness.
Yeah, I like the thought. I prefer to think about, okay, so I had this kind of energy and I sent those energy to that person. So now let me do something better. Let me pray and send them good thoughts and good vibration, and that's what I try to do. But
you've got to go and collect all those energy darts. You got to go and fix them.
So just to add a little bit on what you said. So the other day I was thinking about a housewife, for example, if that person is cooking for the entire family and she's not in a good day, think about the energy being, going into that food, and all of a sudden not realizing she probably will poison the entire family with her feelings, Giles is laughing. Don't laugh. It's a true statement.
I know, my wife says it all the time. I'm in a bad mood today. I'm not cooking, otherwise I'll poison everybody. And yes, indeed.
He's right. Hi, Steve.
I'll just say this one, then I'll shut up. I've talked too much today. Some years ago, I was driving my son, and I swearing at people in the traffic, somebody, and he said, "Mom, you're not practicing what you preach."
Walk your talk, right?
Look, it's worth reminding everybody that a great teacher in the East said the earth is a hospital and we're all here because we need curing, and we're getting cured by being here. So relax and get on with it. Do your work and get better.
Yes.
And anyway, there's no unhappy endings because we all go home anyway. So less complaining and more.
Get easy with it.
Yeah.
Go with the flow.
Now, I want to say something about mercy.
Sir.
Karma does not provide mercy. There is no such thing as mercy. Mercy can be provided from one human to another, but that's all. In the afterlife, mercy cannot be given to a sinner. It doesn't work, because what happens to the victims? Where are the victims in all of this? Okay, I know Hyacinth's going to come with a big hold up a big cross in front of me, but
I think, because I do think that there is mercy, because you do have it when you see what's happened is what is in your heart. Yes, you have done it, but you can really be sorry. And that's what is in your heart when you see, oh my God, what did I do?
Yes, wait a minute. That's not,
No, you can't undo it because the
I
victims
wasn't
are
talking
there.
about sins that I commit. I was talking about sins that others commit. You cannot forgive sins that others commit.
No,
Exactly.
because I have nothing to do with it. I can only be forgiven for what I have done.
Oh, really? And what happens to your victims then?
That's taken care of.
Oh, and how is that? Some kind of magic that takes care of it?
No, it's not that. It's just the law of the universe.
You torture somebody to death, and then another one, and another one, and another one, because you like it. And then you repent. Now what?
It's what is in your heart. I told you the story.
So repentance is in your heart. How does that save Your victims.
No, but the victims, that's taken care of, Giles.
Ah, that's
I told you about this.
yeah. Okay.
I
Hey,
told you
guys.
about this Jewish woman who was tortured and to the death chamber. So this is what I mean. It is the law of the universe, and we are not experts on the law of the universe.
Yeah, sorry
She
to
was-
interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt a little bit because we're gonna study this. It's gonna be. This is a very good
Exactly.
thing for us to
Yeah,
study.
I'm just listening
And-
because there is a very specific topic about exactly what you
For
guys are
example,
saying.
let me tell you something how relative our language is, right? Some spirits think of mercy, for example, the chance we have to pay for our debts. This is mercy, right? You understand? This is also mercy. So you have, if you have a chance, you have the chance to reincarnate and suffer for what you had done in the past. This is mercy, right?
Yes.
And this is a thought of, so these concepts of the language, the problem, the spirits always repeat that your language is very poor for us to talk about such deep
That's true.
thoughts, so deep lines of thought. But so, and of course, that's why we have lots of discussion. But every time, even Allan Kardec started discussing with the spirit, look, the problem is your language, right? Your language is very poor, but let me tell you something. And then they went on and delved into the subject more deeply. And I think it's good for us to study this with no problem, mercy, because there is a law of mercy, the justice, mercy, charity, and mercy. We're going to study this, and maybe I can even try to subtitle a lecture of a judge, a very famous spiritist judge here in Brazil, who made a wonderful lecture about that. I think it can be good for us to take a look at that.
Yeah, I will.
Good, it's good.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, there is a story about Chico and Emmanuel. Sorry, Leda and Josie, but I need to mention that. There was one day that Chico Xavier, he was going to his medium circle, and he met this guy who was drunk. He was a very known drunk in his city. And then the guy was asking some money to Chico for, for him to buy some bread or something, some food. And then Chico had some money in his pocket in a very rare occasion, but because he was very poor. But at that day, he had money in his pocket and he could give him to the drunk guy, but he decided not. So, and then he left. And as soon as he left, so Emmanuel, his spiritual guide, showed up and asked, okay, Chico, why didn't you give the money to the drunk guy? And Chico said, well, because I know him, he's always drunk and I have only this, let's say $5 in my pocket. And as soon as I gave him, I know that he would buy more drink, more and more alcohol to drink, not, food. And then Emmanuel said, well, that is not up to you. That is up to him. So he asked you the money, so you give him. So it's and then you do from your heart. Now, what he does with that money, then it's his problem. So I can say, forgive me. I'm very sorry. What you do with my request, then is up to my victim. Not saying that I do not have to pay anything, I do, but it's the very first step to recognize my fault. Leda?
Mercy has to do with the God or the universal law, the laws of the universe that you call it, that with their intention of making you a better person. So it has to do with education. So if the universal laws understand that you tortured someone and you did all the worst but you are really making an effort to be better, then it will help you to get better. Then God will help you to get better. Doesn't mean that you will erase your past. No, but you will pay for your past with credit. You have credit to pay for your past, like a debt that you have, but then the bank owes you some money to help you open a business and pay for that. So if you're on the right path and you're trying to, you really regret what you have done and you really want to do things better, then if you tortured someone, you can be a doctor that comes to help the others, do their, to cure the others. And then you suffer because you work, you be with them, you be with the suffering people, but you will be working to make their lives better. And the universe will lead your victims to you to make you cure them. So it's all connected. And that's mercy. That mercy doesn't mean to erase everything.
I agree. Good comment. Yeah. Josie?
I just want to remind us, in Giles, for example, in your
Yes.
example, you say you torture somebody. I just want to bring, like, we need to remember we cannot see the whole context of that two souls involved in that situation. And I'm saying that because I really believe the universe is very fair, more than fair, called God, universe is not fair, it's the justice, right? They are the justice. And if, for example, I torture somebody, I'm absolutely wrong, but I believe if the person who was tortured somehow in the universe, I don't want to say the person deserves that because nobody deserves to be tortured. But if it's happened, because this person may be in the past did something to solve for that. And if I do that and I ask forgiveness, he seemed sad, not that I still need to pay the price, but I'm just saying we don't see the whole picture. We see only this life picture. So if somebody came to me and killed me right now, I don't know what I have done with this person in the past. So I'm just saying we need to really pay attention because we don't see everything. And I really believe, like Jesus says, there is no one leaf from the tree that falls that it's not been seen. So we need to take in consideration that. I'm not saying we can go there and do wrong things. Please, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying who received these bad things, what this person have done as well in us. So I hope I'm express myself well. Sorry if I'm not. I'm not saying people can do bad things. I'm just saying we don't see the whole picture. And that's just a fact.
Thank you,
Correct
Josie.
me, guys.
Olivia?
Yeah, I remember that Peter said love can cover among of things. Amount of things. Yes, it is. Is that Heising? Yeah, he said because love is working in repair what we've done. And when we work and when we love, we do charity, we repair what we have done. Maybe we are not repairing with the person, with the real victim as Anna said, because maybe the victim doesn't want to be with us, don't forgive us, don't want to be in contact. So we don't need to be with them. We need to repair our consciousness. And that's what matters. And that's the opportunity of reincarnation. Maybe we will not be among the victims or with next to them. A lot of time we are next to them and to repair with them when they permit. When they don't permit, they allow. When they don't allow, we have to repair with our consciousness. That's what matters. And when we learn to love, we forgive ourselves. That's why love covers among of things, a multitude of things. And because love can heal us and can heal people around us, and that's what makes us feel that we are repairing what we have done.
And I think at this point, that's it. Look, how we are talking about the same thing. Because at the same time, Giles is correct. The debt is the debt, right? The way nature converges, right, in our favor will depend on our posture on how to deal with that debt. It happens even in the market, right? In the financial market. The debtor can behave in one way or the other, and depending on the way the debtor behaves, the banks will behave stronger and fiercely against him or in his favor. I think it's the same thing. Yeah.
And then I remember Paul the Apostle again. He made a lot of victims. He used to heal,
he killed his son, his brother-in-law.
Yes, a lot of victims, and he loved so much. He learned to love. He made so many good things after that he didn't have to go back to all the victims, but he felt himself good with God. He felt he was curing himself and healing everyone around. That was important to him.
Yeah. Thank you, Olivia. Una.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, I've listened to the Michael Newton book, Journey of Souls, and he talked about an interesting case. So a man in his 50s or so came to see him, and Michael Newton regressed him. And the man's natural mother had left him on the steps of a church when he was like 2 days old or 3 days old, had basically abandoned him. And this had brought issues and things all his life, and those weren't his only issues, but that was his opening life. His adoptive parents were very hard on him and things like that. And it turned out when Michael Newton regressed him that this man and his natural mother had been together in other lifetimes, going back to, I think it was back to ancient Egypt, when the son had been a high priest, and he had sentenced that woman to death for disobeying him when he was a high priest. And then all these many centuries later, she's his mother, and she gives him up for adoption. She walks away from him, and that's how the karmic debt was paid. And the adoptive parents who stepped in, there was also a pre-birth meeting, and you got to hear the souls coming together and things, and they were known to him too.
Amazing story. Yeah, love it. Yeah, very good. Very nice. Illustrate very well. Thank you. Josie.
I just want to, Vladimir, make a comment in the chat in Portuguese that he make in one sense what I want to say. I was trying to say, maybe I was a little confused. My husband didn't say, it was a little confusing. What Vladimir said, everybody's the victim and everybody's the algoz. Everybody's the perpetrator and the victim at the same time in another situation. So I want to just highlight that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vlad.
All right. Shall we go to the next one?
Just a minute. I think this stuff we're going to see is so important that this is the reason for lots of incredulous people about religion. Because when you make a mistake here, the higher forces give you such a long time to do good so that you can lessen the heavy load of the justice on you, that people think there isn't justice. Do you understand? Well, the guy killed 5 people and died in a very good situation, so there's no justice, right? It's exactly because of this merciful way of the law that gives you a lot of time, sometimes 2, 3, 4 reincarnations, so that you can do good as much as you can until justice comes to your door. And the Spirit Emmanuel used to say something very interesting through Chico Xavier. He says, I think I've already said this once, when justice comes to your door and knocks on your door, charging you for a past debt, and finds you doing good to others, there is something in the merciful part of the law that makes the law to be suspended to wait for you. Keep on doing good, and those who you help will be the advocates of your cause in terms of your debt, so that in the end, right, when the justice comes back again to your door, your debt can have been lessened or even disappeared according to the whole work you've done in these maybe 100 years, 300 years working for the other, to the others.
Yeah,
So this
and
the
it is so
redemption.
merciful, Luis, that the other day I was reading, sometimes some people that live the tragedy, they take this time like 3 incarnations, 4 incarnations to meet again. So they are prepared for that meeting, for that encounter, and they do not fail. I mean, the whole plan is to provide with those people, you know, enough strength and skills so they can overcome their own faults, or, you know, their own challenges, and they can be successful this time.
Now remember the parable of the unfaithful butler. Maybe Haishin knows about that, right? That I won't tell this here, but it's a long story. But Jesus says something about this. The guy, the butler, was very unfaithful, and he was afraid because his Lord came to him and said, "Well, you are going to be removed from your comfort zone." This is another word. I don't remember the right words. And he, oh my goodness, I need to do good. I need to do good because when I'm thrown out of my comfort zone, I'll have the chance to be helped by people. It's the same thing, right? One day we're gonna study this parable. It's gonna be very beautiful if we understand about reincarnation and the law.
Yes, it is. When I'm in trouble, I will want people to help me. Therefore, I better stop and start helping now. Yeah. So he forgave people their debts.
That's it. Yeah, exactly. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. So, hey, folks, 4:13. I don't think we should go ahead and start with a new question. Otherwise, Joseph will say we run out of time to me again. But anyway, does anyone volunteer to say a prayer? Luis?
No, Giles so shut up today. I can't hear his voice.
Yeah, he was very quiet today.
Giles.
He's not in his normal.
What's happening there, Giles?
Well, nothing really. All endings are happy. Laughter and love outweighs tragedy and tears on this earth. Let me say that again slowly. Laughter and love outweighs tragedy and tears on this earth. And when we look at the afterlife, of course, all endings are happy. There's in-between times and other in-between times. And I'm not going to go around on this mercy story again, because Luis, as you are quite right, the words are inadequate in the language. And as for a closing prayer, I could invent one, I guess.
Please.
Okay, you want me to invent one?
Please.
Okay, it will
From your heart.
From the heart.
Yes, it will have, it's a prayer of gratitude, and it has 5 parts. Lord, bless you and thank you for all of your wonderful work. Thank you for a beautiful day. Bless you and thank you for a beautiful day. Notice I am giving blessings to the Lord, not asking blessings. Bless you, Lord, for another day in this body. And thank you for that. Bless you, Lord, for all of the goodies, a comfortable place to sleep, food in the fridge, and endless goodies that go on and on. And this one is just for me. Thank you, Lord, for no drinking and no smoking. All right, 5 parts.
dear.
That was it.
Very beautiful.
Very,
Thank
very
you,
beautiful.
Lauren.
Thank you. Sometimes I do the same. I send my energy because I'm always asking.
That's it.
Very
Beautiful,
nice.
beautiful.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us
you,
today.
everybody.
Don't miss
everyone.
next Saturday.
God bless
Thank you. See you
Bye.
tomorrow.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
you. Yeah, tomorrow. Be there.
Anna, is it the same time next week or is it earlier?
Same time.
Okay. See you next week. Have a lovely week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.